So the agenda for today, we're going to do some introduction, talk about pricing, see what is different with Microsoft 365, the roadmap, some links for you to look at, and some next steps. And of course, you will get the presentation after this meeting. So a high-level introduction about the business edition of Dynamics 365. And before I do that, it's of course very important also to remember that for Microsoft and for QBS, it's all about a and strategy. So we keep on selling Dynamics NEV as we have it right now, but there's going to be a new addition to the family called Dynamics 365, which will be available via a online mechanism. And as we can see here is that the on-premise business will be very valuable for the next coming years. So if we look at Dynamics 365, it has some pretty strong characteristics. And first, that it also focuses on productivity. So it has a much stronger integration with things like Office 365 and Power BI than we currently see with the NAV product. We can also see that intelligence, so artificial intelligence or Microsoft machine learning is automatically added to the product. So for instance, there's already an example on the Azure Machine Learning portal where you can have a forecast of your inventory points to see what you need to order at a certain point in the future. We will see more of those additions, so extra intelligence to your system, but that's not placed inside the ERP or CRM product, will be available. And of course, the most important thing is that it's ready for growth. Hey, you can start with a small solution and then grow as you grow your business. And with that, of course, it means that you can start with what you need. And I put it in a picture. And at the moment, in the US, there's a new product called Business Center. And that is a new addition to the Office 365 product family. So any customer that's running E3 or higher in US and Canada has gotten for free a Business Center edition to their Office 365 account. When companies outgrow that, they can go to the Dynamics 365 Financials app, which is the old Madeira functionality, and in the end they can upgrade to a custom solution being full NAV with a vertical and or ISV solutions. And maybe that's new for a lot of people, that Dynamics 365 will have in the end the same functionality as the on-prem product. And at the moment, probably one of the best ways to keep in touch with what is happening with NAV is to follow Marko Pericic on LinkedIn, because he's sharing a lot more information via this LinkedIn profile than Microsoft is officially doing via their marketing channels. And we can see already here that he's made a promise that within the 6 to 12 months that NAV Online or Dynamics 365 will have the same functionality as NAV on-premise. And with that, Microsoft will be the only vendor that has a full ERP suite where customers can choose to have it on-prem or online, all with the same functionality. So I do encourage you to, if you're not following Marko already, do that via LinkedIn, because he's the most reliable source of information at this point. Well, I was just talking about the Business Center. So if you would open your Office 365 portal in the US or Canada, some customers has gotten the extra tile called Business Center. And in the Business Center, there's a few apps in there. And this is the link to the official press release, so you can read it for yourselves as well. In the end, these are the apps that are included in Business Center. So Microsoft Listings, the Outlook Customer Manager, Connections, Invoicing, and Bookings. And for instance, the Invoicing app is basically a very, very trimmed down version of Dynamics NEV. It only allows you to make an invoice. I'll have a video of that in a second, but it is in the end a NAV platform running that. And you could see Microsoft Listings and Connections as a step up or as an entry point for CRM, where you can later step up into CRM Online or other products. This video from the link, and it's a total of 2 minutes, but I'm just going to show a few seconds of that. And it shows you what the invoicing app looks like. So this is brand new. I don't think a lot of people have seen that. And it's free with the Business Premium E3 or higher. And of course, that's a big step forward for Microsoft to also enter into the lower space for customers who only have 1 or 2 employees. So if we look at the Dynamics 365 Business Edition, it will basically be of 3 modules called the Financials, which is the old Project Madeira, and it will be extended with a sales and marketing functionality that are based on the current CRM Online product. And the biggest difference with the CRM Online or sales and marketing feature from the Enterprise Edition is that these products will be less customizable, but the code base is in the end the same. And of course, like Dynamics NAV 2017, it has a native integration with products like Flow, Power BI, and Power Apps. And if you want to prepare for Dynamics 365, I do encourage you to also look at Power Apps and Power BI and Flow. So to look at it a little bit more from a perspective that you can also share with your customers, which is a little bit nicer. So we have a ERP, a sales, and a marketing granule. It's integrated with Office 365 for productivity. And on the other side, it's integrated with Power BI, Cortana Intelligence, which is artificial intelligence. And you can also include sensors that we have in machines if we talk about Internet of Things. And everything is supported by Power Apps and Flow as a common connection layer. If you want to add products to it, like an app, you can go to App Source and you can buy as a customer directly new additions to NAV. If we look at the Financials product, it basically consists of all the domains that we know from NAV at this point. So financial management, purchasing, project management, inventory management, and sales is all included in the Dynamics 365 for Financials app. And to have a little bit broader perspective on that and also to talk to your customers, these are some of the high-level functionalities that are included in the Financials app at this moment. But be sure and that, as promised by Marco Pericic, in the end, the Dynamics 365 product will have the same functionality as NAV on-premise. So if we look at that from the past, we once had the Project Madeira preview that consisted of a number of functionality. With the release of Financials, that became a broader product, and in the end, the Dynamics 365 Financials app will have the same functionality as the starter pack that we have today. And second to that, we will have a Dynamics 365 platform, which will have all the solutions that has NAV at this moment. And as a partner, you can choose to build your IP either on the Dynamics 365 Financials app or on the complete platform. That's a choice that you can make as a partner. And one of the strange things at the moment, or changes, if you would look at any Microsoft documentation in relation to Dynamics 365, you can see that there's a lot of mentioning of the word ISV. And of course, in the traditional world, the ISV was a non-reselling IP vendor. At this moment, Microsoft is looking at ISVs, at any partner that's adding IP to Dynamics 365. So either being it as a traditional ISV that only sells to partners, or as a VAR that makes IP for their own customers. But in the Dynamics 365 world, we see that as ISVs, and we name them like that. So pricing, of course, that's on everybody's head. So basically, we have two types of users. We have a team member that's costing €5 per month per user, and we have a full user at the $40 price range. And these users can only be bought at the moment via the Cloud Solution Provider program, meaning that customers are at this point not able to buy Dynamics 365 directly from a website as they can do with Office 365. At the moment, there's no plans for Microsoft to open that option, but of course we never know if they will. So if we look at the differences between a team member and a full user, we can see that a team member can also update existing data into Dynamics 365. And basically the idea is that if you sell Dynamics 365 to any user, to any organization, that all the people in that organization are team members, and that only the heavier users will buy a $40 license. What there also will be is pricing where you have, if you have multiple more seats, then the price will drop, and in the end the lowest price that you can buy Dynamics 365 for is about $28 a month if you have more than 75 seats. So what is the biggest difference if we look at Dynamics 365 is that if you as a partner want to add IP to Dynamics 365, you also always have to use a extension. And of course, extensions is the new way to make additions or to program for Dynamics 365. So whether you are doing on-prem business or Dynamics 365, be sure that you look into extensions and start to develop your IP in an extension way. Because what was happening with the iPhone 10 years ago is going to happen with Dynamics 365 also. If customers want to add IP to their Dynamics 365 environment, they will go to App Source, look for an app, and buy that directly from a partner that maybe you don't even know. And with that, of course, a ERP environment changes from a fixed environment where you control it as a partner to an environment that's much more controlled by a customer. And in the end, that means for your support organization that they will be much more enabling customers with an app or with a small extension than the old basic troubleshooting. So where now support is mainly seen as a cost center, it could be that in the end, in the new world, the support environment will be much more like a revenue-driven part of your organization, helping with the selection of apps. So if we talk about apps and extensions, what is the difference? Well, it's basically very easy. Is that extension is the way we program it, and if we upload it to the App Source website by Microsoft and it's validated by Microsoft, then we call it an app. And if you have never seen App Source, I do encourage you also to look at that website, because it is the way we are moving forward. And if you do a search on Microsoft App Source, you can see on which platform I want to have an app. So do I want to extend Dynamics 365, or do I want to extend Power BI or Office 365? And as a partner, so for instance, if somebody buys the, LS Retail app, you as a partner can also build another extension on top of that IP. So it's much easier to stack IP in this new extension way of delivering IP to your customers. So what is the roadmap at this point? So the dates that are here are Microsoft fiscal years. So the Microsoft fiscal years run from June to June. So at the moment, we are in Q1 of fiscal year 17. So that means that we are now having the Financials 365 app available in US and Canada, and that it will be launched to EMEA hopefully around the summer, where if something is happening, that the UK will be the first market that will have a Dynamics 365 Financials app. And after that, countries like Denmark, Germany, Holland are expected to be next, but there's no conclusive timelines on that. So what are next steps for you as a partner is that whatever you do, if you stay on-prem, you want to go with Dynamics 365, that extensions is the most important thing that you should look at, because you can deploy an extension on an on-prem environment, you can run an extension on a Dynamics 365 tenant, or on your self-hosted NAV version on Azure. So whatever you do look into extensions. And there's some resources that I want to share with you. Probably the most important one is the second one. It's called aka.ms/apps for financials, because that's the website by Microsoft where all the material about how to deploy an app, how to build extensions, how do I go through validations, it's all there. And last week there was also a course done by Microsoft, by Kurt, who is one of the leading PTSs at Microsoft, and that is available on the Dynamics Learning platform if you have access to that. So I've put in the link. Another one is that one that I've bookmarked myself is the top 10 Dynamics 365 blogs and sites. Together with the QBS Talk website, that's probably a good set of websites to visit as well. For you as a partner, what are next steps? Well, we do invite you to our next webinars. We also have a training called Product Pricing and Packaging, where we go much more into depth on Dynamics 365, but also on how to make money with that, what's the strategy, what is the cloud solution provider program, and how do I change my organization to adapt this. At the moment, we have 2 dates confirmed. We have one this Friday at Copenhagen, but that's already full, because we have 15 partners attending there. So next versions of this workshop are run in Leusden on the 10th of April, and the second one in Hamburg on the 17th of May. But of course, if there's more demand, we can always look at extending the availability of this training, because it is a very good first step to get to know more about Dynamics 365. That concludes the things that I wanted to share with you today. So what happens to the extended pack functionality is the question. So in the financials app, that's the starter pack, but as Marco said in his LinkedIn blog, is that the full functionality of NAV will be available in the next 6 to 12 months. How they will do that, that's not clear at the moment, but Dynamics 365 as a online platform will have in the end the full NAV functionality that you have at this moment on premise. Alright, then I will conclude this QBS talk for today. Thank you very much for joining, and hope to see you in approximately another 6 weeks. Thank you so much.